Many people would agree that Johns Creek, Georgia is one of the best suburbs of Atlanta. Johns Creek is in Fulton County, about 30 to 45 minutes north of Atlanta, and it's growing every year. But let's talk about why this city is not just good for families, it's perfect for families. What's up, y'all? My name is Victor with Living in Atlanta, Georgia, and I put out videos every week about what it's like to live in the Atlanta area. We talk about the homes and the neighborhoods and the community in the Atlanta area. Of course, if you're thinking about moving to Johns Creek or any of the cities around Atlanta, feel free to call, text, or email me anytime. I have people calling and texting all the time, and I'm so thankful. I really am happy to help. When it comes to family-friendly living in the Metro Atlanta area, Johns Creek has so many things going for it. One reason why there are so many families in this city is because the home prices are reasonable and the quality of the schools is one of the best in all of the state. A few examples of the schools in Johns Creek are Finley Oaks Elementary School, which is an 8 out of 10 according to greatschools.org, Taylor Road Middle School, which is a 9 out of 10, and Chattahoochee High School, which is also a 9 out of 10. For many families who are wanting to live in a family-friendly suburb, there are a few things that are super important to them, like being able to find good community among the other neighbors in the area and different events around the city that work well for everybody in the family. Also, you want to be close to enough shopping and enough commercial areas. Like, you don't want to be far out in the country in a rural setting. And so Johns Creek has all of those things. There are plenty of things to do in the city. There are certainly lots of community events around the city and enough shopping. They don't quite have like a city center like you would find in Marietta or in Alpharetta, but there certainly is enough of the commercial areas in Johns Creek. You wouldn't have to drive very far to get to a grocery store or, whatever it is you might be doing throughout the day, because Johns Creek is really a suburban area. It's not a rural setting. You're not going to be far out there in the woods, and you're not super close to the city of Atlanta either when you live in Johns Creek. So safety is certainly not a problem in Johns Creek either. In fact, many sources would say that the city of Johns Creek is one of the safest in all of Metro Atlanta. Johns Creek is in Fulton County, just north of the city of Atlanta. To get to Atlanta from Johns Creek, you would take Highway 400. This is kind of like an interstate. It's like a 4 or 5 lane road that has just as many cars, even though it's called Highway 400. But this is also the kind of road that you're going to find lots of rush hour traffic. So right around 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. in the mornings, and then in the afternoons, rush hour starts at around 3:30 and ends maybe around 5:30. So this is where you're going to find the majority of the rush hour traffic on Highway 400. Now, another reason why Johns Creek works so well for families is that the economy there in Johns Creek is very good. You would not necessarily have to drive to Atlanta for work. There are many employers in Johns Creek and a lot of the surrounding suburbs where you would be able to find work. Alpharetta has a very busy technology sector. They also have Suwanee to the east of Johns Creek, where there are lots of employers, and Norcross to the south of Johns Creek. Again, lots of big companies there as well. So ideally, if you live in Johns Creek, you wouldn't have to drive too far for work. One thing that's super unique about Johns Creek is the amount of golf courses that you can find there. Rivermont Golf Club, River Pines Golf, and Atlanta Athletic Club are some of the golf courses in the area. Hopefully this gives you a good idea of what kind of city Johns Creek is. Like, lots of people there love their golf courses. They love their country clubs. It's a great place for young families, and Johns Creek is certainly one of the most popular suburbs in all of Metro Atlanta. When it comes to finding commercial areas for shopping, there are a few different spots around the city that have plenty of commercial areas. Medlock Bridge and State Bridge Road, Jones Bridge and Abbott's Bridge, and Medlock Bridge and McGinnis Ferry. Each of these different intersections have the commercial areas with like Target and Home Depot and restaurants, so there's plenty of these kinds of stores that you can find in the city of Johns Creek. One thing that makes this city so special and so popular is the communities and the neighborhoods in Johns Creek. They are some of the most beautiful neighborhoods, some of the most well-kept neighborhoods. So let's take a look at a few of the neighborhoods in Johns Creek, Georgia. This first neighborhood is the Deer Lake subdivision. Most of the homes in this neighborhood are between 2,500 and 4,000 square feet, depending on whether or not they have a basement. These homes were built in the mid-90s and are on about half an acre to 1 acre for the lot sizes. The HOA in this neighborhood has a pool and tennis courts and is about $2,500 a year, and most of the homes in this neighborhood sell for between $700,000 and $900,000. This next neighborhood is the Wellington subdivision. Most of the homes in this neighborhood are about 2,500 square feet, and the lot sizes are about a quarter of an acre. These homes were built in the late 90s, and this neighborhood also has an HOA that's about $800 per year. The homes in this neighborhood sell for between $550,000 and $650,000. And this next neighborhood, which is one of my favorite, is the Hillbrook neighborhood. Most of the homes in this neighborhood are between 2,500 and 3,500 square feet and are on about a quarter of an acre. The majority of these homes were built in the late 80s and early 90s, and the HOA in this neighborhood also has a pool and tennis courts and is about $1,100 a year. The homes in the Hillbrook subdivision sell for between $550,000 and $650,000. A quick word about the HOAs in these neighborhoods. This is one of the reasons why it's such a great area for families. All of these neighborhoods have an HOA, and they pretty much all have a pool and a tennis court. Sometimes they have a golf course in the neighborhood or like a clubhouse in the neighborhood. And all of these amenities are what is included in the HOA. Many times people from other states kind of frown upon HOAs, or they want to live in a home that's not in an HOA. And that's not really a good idea in the metro Atlanta area, as the overwhelming majority of homes are in an HOA. Now, keep in mind that HOAs here in metro Atlanta and in Johns Creek are not nearly as difficult as some of the other HOAs in other states. They don't go around house to house and like measure your grass or make sure that you're not breaking any of the rules for the HOA. The main reason why they're there is to make sure that the money is collected for people using the pool and the tennis courts or the golf courses. Like, they're just there to make sure that those amenities are run well. They're not trying to be difficult on the neighbors. They're just trying to make sure that the amenities are run and that the home values are kept up. Also, these common areas like the pool and the tennis courts are great places to meet your neighbors. When it comes to paying for these HOAs, this is not something that you typically do without the bank. Typically, the cost of the HOA is rolled into your mortgage. When you buy a home, the cost of the HOA is taken into account by the bank when they determine how much your monthly mortgage is going to be. So no matter what the yearly cost of the HOA is, they'll break it down and roll it into your mortgage each month. So Johns Creek is certainly one of the best suburbs in all of metro Atlanta. There are so many great things about living in Johns Creek, but the truth is that there is some things about Johns Creek that are kind of red flags. Not everything about Johns Creek is great. So if you want a full list of the pros and cons of living in Johns Creek, check out this video. I'll see you there.